Getting from Guatemala to Honduras can be a pretty pricey trip if you're only looking at flights or shuttles to get you there. I'm talking $70 to $120 depending on where you're leaving from. But I was able to make this trip for just around $30 US instead, and this is how I did it. My starting point was Livingston, Guatemala, and from here we caught the first launch out to Puerto Barrios at 5:30 in the morning. This trip cost 50 Q and took about 30 minutes. From the dock of Puerto Barrios, we started what would have been a 12-minute walk to a market that, to our understanding, would have had collectivos waiting there to take us to the border. Instead, 3 minutes into our walk, one drove past shouting for Honduras, so we flagged them down, hopped in for another 50 Q, and set off for an hour drive to the border. Once we arrived, we exchanged money for Lempira and then stamped out of Guatemala and into Honduras. The immigration tax for Honduras is 25 Q or 75 Lempira. We then walked about 10 minutes down the road to be met with quite a few people yelling for Puerto Cortes. Here you can get a yellow chicken bus for 65 Lemp or an 80 Lemp shuttle bus with AC, which is what we opted for because it's an hour-and-a-half journey. Once we made it to Cortes, our driver waved down another collectivo to San Pedro Sula, who then rushed us across 4 lanes of traffic and onto our next drive. This would have cost us each 65 Lemp, but because we put our bags into another seat, we were charged an additional 65 that we ended up splitting. So if you can stand it, take this hour and 20-minute journey with your bags in your lap. After a confusing and packed ride to San Pedro Sula, we were then dropped off at the main bus station. When you walk in, there will be desk agents yelling at you different destinations to go, and you're probably going to be looking for La Ceiba. Here we each paid 180 Lemp and just barely made it onto the next bus. This was definitely the longest and most uncomfortable leg, with AC vents that worked but wouldn't stay open, so we stayed soaked in sweat for the entire 4 hours. But nonetheless, we made it, hopped into a taxi that cost us each 50 Lemp, and called it a day. Just relaxing before our 7 a.m. ferry to Utila the next day.